Yo guys, what's going on? I'm Tim for The Real Sports Talk. You can hit me up on Twitter at CashKelly_TRST, and you can also like The Real Sports Talk on Facebook. Go ahead and do both of those because you're going to get great sports coverage from both. Today I was planning to make a video about how Jonathan Vilma had gotten suspended for the entire season and some of the other suspensions that had been handed out by Roger Goodell as part of the Bounty Gate, but I decided to change when I came home and saw the extremely shocking and unfortunate, I don't even know how to phrase it because it just caught me so off guard, news that Junior Seau, the former linebacker who has spent a majority of his career with the Chargers, was a superstar there, has bars named after him, the whole 9 yards, spent some great years in Miami and New England as well, that he had died and police were investigating it as if it were a suicide. And it's so unfortunate to see this happen to such a great player, but beyond that, a guy that was such a great person. It is really a shame to see that happen, and I feel like by saying it's a shame, I'm not saying enough, and that's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm not trying to downplay it, but this is just one of those things where you're at a loss for words when you talk about something like this because it catches you so off guard. He's 43 years old. He was in the NFL, let me look. 3 years ago, Junior Seau was playing for the New England Patriots. It wasn't his Pro Bowl days, but he was still playing for the Patriots. A few years back, he was on the team that won 16-0. It hasn't been that long. A lot of these guys we hear about, they're out of the NFL 15, 20 years, and then this happens. I don't know, I would tend to think that the reasoning behind this was because of massive head injuries that we've seen come along with quite a few players. And the really unfortunate part about this whole thing is while Junior Seau did have a longer career than most players that we see this happen to, like the guy who was on the Bears that did this last year, we see this happen 10 or 15 years after because the effects continue to wear down. Their brain just continues to wear down from all the hits that it took, and ultimately they just lose it. Junior Seau was in the NFL 3 years ago. That's the most disturbing, I guess would be the way to put it, thing about this entire happening, whatever you want to call it, is that he was in the NFL 3 years ago playing at a pretty decent level for someone who was 40 years old. It's just extremely tough to believe. I hope that everything turns out okay. And the NFL's screwed here yet again. While everyone likes to get on Roger Goodell, and Roger Goodell has handled this bounty thing. He's been way over the top on this. I'm not a Roger Goodell fan. I can't say I hate him more than guys like David Stern and Bud Selig, but I dislike him. I'll put it that way. But with these head things and with putting in the new rules to make the game softer, everyone wants to have an issue with it, but then we also see things like this happen, and you basically realize that Roger Goodell is screwed into doing this. He probably is not even a fan of putting in no helmet to helmet, no this or that, but because of all the lawsuits coming down, and because they have not found a solution where a player can just take as many hits in the head and be fine, they haven't found a helmet or whatever it would take, there's no choice for Roger Goodell except to continue putting in some of these rules. At this point, though, the problem is for the NFL is that they've kind of maxed out what they can do. You can only take out so many things before it becomes flag football, like some people already refer to it as now. And there's nothing else they can do. There really isn't. They can give players all the benefits after they play and whatever, but if these players become suicidal or whatever because of head injuries, then there's really nothing that Roger Goodell and everyone involved with the NFL and the NFL Players Association can really do. But they need to continue looking into this, researching it, so that things like this do not continue to happen, because it's so unfortunate to see anyone have this happen to, but a great guy and a great overall player like Junior Seau, a legend out in San Diego. It's unfortunate to see happen. I'll see you guys later.